So welcome back to part 2 of Superdads. And I'm here with 4 individuals, 2 fathers, one you won't see. He's a real super dad. He turned to a invisible man. And then two mothers, and we had an interesting conversation. So by the time y'all get this part of the show, y'all been experienced the first part or whatever, or watch the first part. So I'm gonna go back to the first segment. I should just go ahead and do some animania, just ball the paper up and be like this, but I might need those questions. So anyway, Mr. Cotton, and I believe it was Courtney who was speaking about how men should walk down the street with their woman, or how they should open the door. This whole segment might end up being that one topic, all right? Because before I got on the phone with you all, I was on the phone with a friend, and I was telling her about the funeral that I just left, and how all of the elders were leaving out of the repast because they didn't have anywhere to sit. So when I walked in the building, I noticed there was a lot of young people sitting down, typical. All the seats were taken. So I see elders leaving. I hear one of the guys say, "Oh, they leaving because they don't have anywhere to sit." So me and him started discussing how, these young guys, they don't want to respect their elders. They don't want to give up a seat because they don't want to stand up, but they'll allow the elders to stand up. They wouldn't give up their seat for a woman if there were no seats available in the room. And when y'all were talking, it was like God was telling me something. It was like, hold it for the next segment. Because I was about to interrupt and show y'all this little question that I wrote down based off the conversation that me and my friend had on the phone before the show. So I'm gonna leave her name out of it, but she asked this question and we're gonna talk about it. And the question goes a little bit like this. Do you think that fathers can raise their daughters into becoming a woman? That's one part of this segment. So y'all, I'm gonna give y'all time to absorb that. So we went further into the conversation, and she stated, "Man, I didn't know men supposed to open doors for women. You opened the door for me one time, and I told you, and I remember this, I don't need you to hold the door open for me." That's her response to me when I was holding the door before we was going into the job or whatever. And when you said what you said about the young lady calling her mom, I'm like, you sure this ain't the same person or whatever? But I said I'm gonna stick on that. We're gonna stick on that because I believe that there's a lot of youth. I mean, a lot of people gonna look at this show and be like, "Man, he ain't talking about nothing." But it's gonna be a lot of men that's gonna understand that, especially for young Black men, like that's a representation of the opposite of what they think of us when we do things like that. Whether they're white, you open the door for a white, Asians, Hispanic, Black, whoever you open that door for, it shouldn't matter. It's all about, you just doing it, your representation, you as a man, because I do believe in men opening doors. I believe that a man should always open the door, no matter how cold or if it's raining. You open that door for that woman. Let that woman in the car. Now, little humor. If she don't open that door, reach across that seat and open that door for you, you have the right. Put this on Marcus. You have the right to either raise the window down and let the snow or the rain hit in her face. And you also have the right to say, "Hey, sit in the back." All right? Right, Lisa?
No.
Okay. You got to teach me because I'm like the young generation. I don't know. So teach me. What should I do? So let's go back to that question. Nope, we'll go to that topic. Let's go to this topic. Do you think that a father, I'm gonna ask the young ladies first, Do you think that a father can raise his daughter into being a woman? Yes or
You want me
no?
to start?
Just say yes or no.
Yes.
What
I think
about
he
you,
can
Renee?
give her pointers and things. There's some things
Yeah,
that they
yes or
may need
no?
from a woman.
Yes
But
or
yeah, I
no?
do believe a
Okay.
father can teach his daughter to be a respectable young lady. Yes, I do.
Okay. Mr. Cotton and Courtney, what y'all think?
Yes, sir.
It would be hard, but yeah, it can be done.
My man, thank you. Cause I was getting nervous. I'm like, man, I raised 5 girls, and me and you, we here, bro. We here. I got your back. I got your back. All right, let's start with the women. Okay, so y'all say, everyone say yes, and my man say yes, but it'll be hard. I agree with him. Lisa, so you say yes. Why? Why? Why do you say yes?
I think if you're a parent, like I think Courtney said earlier, well, I don't know if it was you or Courtney, I think it was Courtney, that when we have children, it doesn't come with a manual.
Right,
So we're
Courtney.
learning every day. At any time, you can be in a relationship or be married and have your children, and one of your spouse can pass away, and then it's the responsibility. I think what happens automatically, people look at the woman or the wife, and then like the male will pass away. So when you have it flipped, you know, a lot of people would get, you know, kind of anxious and have anxiety, like, oh my God, he has a daughter or daughters. What is he going to do? How's he going to deal when it comes to menstrual periods or cramps or attitudes? And so I think sometimes when a father has to raise a daughter or daughters, he's going to give them, he's going to teach them in the male perspective, as not just a father, but as a man. And I think that's a bonus, because as you said earlier, little things like opening the door, you know, if you're cold and that man puts a jacket over you,
right?
You know, pulling out your chair when you go out to eat, making sure, you know, that you're just, you know, treated like a lady. And I think a lot of young girls have lost that, but not just young girls. There's people in my generation that have that same mentality. Like you said, your friend, that she didn't know that somebody's supposed to open a door. One thing that I know for me, what I do is if we approach a door, I stand there, I do not touch the door. I wait for that person to open the door.
Right.
And if they don't, I'm going to open it, but I'm going to give them an opportunity to open the door first. And I think if you do that, that man will eventually catch on to that. Or it's going to either be a topic subject that you're going to talk about, you know, one-on-one. But you know, I think fathers can raise daughters, but I do believe that they have to have some form of female, whether it's their mother, grandmother, sister, some form of female that they can have conversations with when they're stuck in situations. Because I always feel like a father can do 2 things. They can be maybe overly strict or not strict enough. There's some people that have the in-betweens, but all of that still has to do with how you're raised. That has that's the biggest factor. So I think it's a bonus for a young girl, because then I think that father, one thing I think that when fathers, I love when I see fathers tell their daughters that they're princess. You start that young and it carries over, and then, you know, you tell them you're a queen, and you don't allow them a boy or a man to do this or a man to do that. And then those women kind of stand up high with their chest up because they're proud, because here their father told them, this is what you're supposed to expect from a man. And so I think that's what a lot of young girls lack.
And then they become the woman that have 5 and 6 baby daddies, or they always in an abusive relationship because they never had that strong man.
And they don't know how to be submissive. That's a big problem. So people look at submissive as
she going to another subject. Submissive. Woo!
Bowing down is not that. It's just let the man be the man.
Yeah.
Let him lead.
Yeah.
You know, we like to argue and say what, you know, well, you know, let me do that. And I had to learn that to a certain extent. I had to learn not to try to act like
You
Not that
you didn't need them.
I didn't need them, or that strong personality.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I lost my dad at 9, but I still had male role models. But it was just like I didn't have that father in the home to show like a lot of things. You know, if something broke down, or if something needed to be fixed. You know, my mom had to count on either a family member or my uncle. But other than that, I saw this woman trying to be a woman and a man.
Right.
So, but I still had positive role models, but it's
Okay.
just a learned behavior.
I'm gonna let everybody comment first before I say that, because each person, every time y'all talk, it's like we'll have a whole section. But go ahead, Renee.
Yes,
should have
I
did
do.
one-to-ones with
Again,
you
like I
all.
said, think fathers can raise
Hey, Tata.
women, young girls to be respectable young women. She spoke a lot of what I was going to say. One thing I can say, when you have that installed in you, coming up from, and that was installed in me from my stepfather as well, to not really deal with the guy or put your time and energy into a guy who won't respect you and treat you as such. I'm gonna say I had an experience not too long ago, and this was just with a guy friend who didn't assist and help me and like get into a car or whatever, even though he saw that my hands was full or whatever, and he really didn't get out and help me out. And that kind of gave me a different outlook of him. To me, you cannot be a sometime gentleman. You either one or you're not.
This is true.
And
but I'm also disagree with you too. But go ahead. We'll go into that later.
Okay, you would disagree. I'll go ahead now. Why we on that right now? Like, why would you disagree with that?
Now, y'all could call me petty Betty or whatever y'all want to call me. At times when a man really want to be a gentleman and treat you like a queen, there's times where y'all make it very difficult. And we're not gonna go into relationships. Now, if y'all want to, we go ahead and book a show for that. We just go into that whole, what we talking about now.
Let me stop you right there for a second.
Go ahead.
The individual I'm talking about is just a friend, wasn't even dating or anything.
I'm just speaking in general.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I'm not going into relationship, but I'm just speaking in general. Because even with if I had a sister, I'm sure my sister would be like, why are you holding the door open for me? Or why you doing this for me? I'm big sis. I don't need you. And y'all make it very difficult. Not only are y'all like in some cases rebellious towards it, you all can have some funky attitudes that'll make a man just feel belittled or just distant away from you. Not your head, Mr. Cotton. Not your head from me. Not your
Some women, not all. I'm very grateful for each man that holds the door.
We can't see Courtney.
Yeah.
But no, but as a gentleman, like it's the same as a woman. It's hard for women to be 100% giving and caring and loving towards a male constituent or whatever you want to call them, but 80-90% of the time you should at least carry out those roles, because I'm not saying perfect, but it's times where it gets difficult. It gets very difficult. So I understand what you're saying, but I'm just gonna disagree, because there's some men probably gonna watch that and they're gonna be like, oh, man, you won't let me, I ain't gonna do it. You feel me? So I'm speaking for y'all, but that don't make it right, y'all. That don't make it right. You still have to be that man, especially to your daughters. You really have to still be, you gotta be 100% there, because I know my daughters learned some things from the way I treated their mom, and things that I did not do and things that I did do. And they was like, And then, the woman, they're gonna
embellish.
Y'all heard it? Y'all know.
Yeah.
Okay. If y'all see me fall, y'all know what happened. Woo! Over here sweating now. Okay. Yeah, what was I saying? Go ahead, whatever y'all want to talk about. Nerves.
Well, I think one of the other things that's important too is as a father, if you have daughters, you have to teach your daughters that materialistic things is not important. So important to where they lose sight of an outside individual. Like if your daughter's somewhere between 6 and 15, every once in a while you might want to give them some flowers.
Right.
So when somebody else does it, they be like, "Oh, my dad did that." So they won't be like, "Oh, he really likes me."
Yeah.
No, he just want to get somewhere else. But it ain't about the flowers. But that's one of the things that's most important that young ladies should be taught either by an uncle or father, a male cousin.
Yep.
Not just for graduation or a birthday, but just to do it because it's the thing to do.
Yep.
So they won't think anything else.
Right. They won't be putty.
Right.
They won't be putty in that guy in the hands or whatever. That's true.
Right.
Courtney, you don't have girls, do you?
No, I got 3 boys, but I have a lot of sisters. I got sisters and nieces and stuff, though. A lot of those.
Okay. So before Courtney say what he gonna say, I just want y'all to know it's cool that y'all get comfortable. I really prefer you all to just get as comfortable as possible. Come a man over here. You ain't the only one. My man over here combing, I do it too. So I prefer y'all to be comfortable. If you drink whatever you drink. Just don't advertise whatever it is, because I'm looking for sponsors right now. Yeah, y'all. So yeah, get comfortable. But I don't want to see your chin, Renee. All right, Courtney, what you gotta say for me, bro?
I mean, yeah, I think but I know a man can raise a girl, because when I look at it as God said he gives wisdom, and from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding.
Right.
So I seek him for the wisdom every time, you know what I'm saying, for anything. My nieces, my nephews, my cousins, everything, you know what I'm saying? I seek him for the wisdom. Now, I want to go back to the whole holding doors open and everything. I've been married for almost 16 years, coming up on my 16th year anniversary. And my wife knows that I love her, but my love ain't based off of holding doors and being chivalry towards her. I'm very spontaneous. And she loves that about me. And I can count over the 16 years of me holding the doors on her, probably open for her probably about 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that if I don't do something out of my own free will and it's considered to be an obligation, then I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because
I can see that.
I do it out of love,
right?
Not out of, oh, that's your obligation,
right?
For you to be doing it,
right?
Because that can bring in attitudes and the wrong thought pattern on her end. So when we first got married, she thought that I should hold the door open for her because her father did it. And I told her, no, I'm not your dad, I'm your husband. You know what I'm saying? So if I can't hold the door open for you out of free will and out of love, then I'm not going to hold the door open for you. Right. So I still hold the door open for her whenever, but it's spontaneous. It's not out of obligation, and she knows that.
Right.
And if you bring her into this interview right now, she's not harping on that. She's not even thinking about that, because my love goes deeper than holding that door open for her.
Right.
And being spontaneous is, she knows my love. She says she wants something, and I'll make sure she gets it. I saw this house that we're in right now. She liked it, and I surprised her with it. Mm-hmm. I saw her with a BMW she liked. I surprised her with it. You know what I'm saying? Very spontaneous and not doing stuff out of obligation. That's just my character. I just don't. Right. If I can do it out of free will, then it makes me more happier than to do it out of obligation.
Right. Okay. Hold up, Courtney, right there. First, I'm gonna let Lisa respond, and then Mr. Cotton, because you was talking about materialistic things. Your daughters, as far as teaching your daughters not to be, how not to be materialistic. What do you think about teaching well, not teaching. What about being materialistic towards your wife with daughters? Do you think that's the same teachings, or do you think it's just showing your love towards that woman and your kids training off of that?
I would think that there's a fine line to that without, you're not gonna go broke because you still got the household bills that you got to take care of. You can't let one thing slip and then all of a sudden, let's say for example, like Courtney said, you go buy a house or you go buy a car, but then is the gas and the lights on?
Right.
Because now I know I've seen that just recently within the last year or two when they were doing the stimulus checks, people buying these big screen TVs or these gym shoes, but then they run an extension cord from the neighbor's house.
Right.
How is that working?
Right.
And if you have children, how are you teaching your children
responsibility and priorities? Exactly. Yep. Right.
You can't have extension cord running from the hallway or from the neighbor's house with a big screen TV and you don't have no lights on. It's like a point of responsibility. It's a point about, once again, the word discipline. Yeah. It's not necessarily about just punishment. Discipline goes a long way. It can include responsibility. It can include punctuality. It can include financial responsibility.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, it can go, that's very important when you're teaching children, your daughters, hey, you got to do this in order to do that.
Right. It's not just do it.
Right. It's not, if you're going to bring the wife flowers, then, make sure there's dinner to be put on the table too.
Yeah.
Y'all not just eating tuna fish.
Yeah. And make sure, like Courtney said, it's spontaneous and it actually shows your appreciation towards that woman, not just getting it because my kids here and they mad at me, so I'm gonna get her flowers in front of the kids. So right. it has to mean something. It has to mean something. So Miss Lisa, I saw you over there thinking. I saw the exclamation marks, the question marks, especially when Courtney said, and if y'all know, I wish y'all knew Courtney like I know him. So what Courtney is saying, he's actually like he's not fabricating it. He's not capping on that. Because what I know, Courtney never disrespected a woman. From what I know, I'm talking me and Courtney, Courtney.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I just want to make sure you didn't mute me because I don't want to be in this story by myself, sound like I'm lying. It was times when me and Courtney would hang out. I'm talking about we would be out 1 a.m. And you know how what we think. Y'all, everybody know what goes on. But Courtney was never the one that'll be like, hey, let's take him to the hotel. Let's take him to the motel. Courtney want to holler and get to know those individuals. Me? Man, put them in the car, man. Put them in the back seat. Let's go. They trying to ride, bro. But Courtney wasn't that guy. Courtney was one, no. Let's get their number. Hey, I was a gentleman too. I was just a forceful gentleman. But no, Courtney was the one that, no, let's just get their number, man. Let's talk to, let's whatever. Oh man, no, they ain't getting in here. No, what I mean? Courtney was that type of guy. So what he's saying is facts. But when he said he don't pretty much have to do that for his wife, hold that door open, I saw Lisa look over to the left. Either you got a TV to the left of you and you watching it, or you was like, sad eye, sad track. So I want to hear your response to that, to him saying that he don't have to. Not that it's a bad thing, but what do you think about that? Well, I agree with him too, FYI.
You know what? Honestly, I think when you're in a long-term relationship or marriage, a lot of the things that you did in the beginning dies down. But there are some general things that men should be doing on
all
a daily
the time. Right.
All the time. I mean, I get what Courtney's saying. If he feels like it's the pressure, but I think sometimes you get so used to each other that you just forget like the basic things. When when my husband was living, I would tell him, give me flowers when I don't expect it. And Marcus,
Yeah.
we worked together. You remember times
Oh
I would
yeah.
get Mother's Day or
I used to
not Mother's Day,
question
I would
that.
get it for my birthday or something, just out of the blue. You'd be
I
like,
used to
wow.
question it.
Huh?
I used to question it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Even though I was scared to go to that car and say, hey man, did you send her some flowers? Hey, I questioned you. Shoot. Hey, that hold up. Okay, time. We got 10 minutes. I ain't even gonna do it. I ain't gonna go into another thing. Go ahead.
So
Spontaneous. So you agree spontaneous acts are more appreciated, more
appreciated. You know, like
acceptable.
for me, it was very very affectionate, like in church and class.
Right.
So my son saw these things and it carried over. So he's affectionate in public with his girlfriend. Sometimes a lot of men are not like that. So
Okay.
you do have to watch as the father, affectionate you are with your, showing that affection with your daughter, and that they deserve that same affection from a man.
Okay. So Renee, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you was done. It sounded like you stopped. Are you done now?
I'm done, Marcus.
Or your camera freezing or so? I don't know. It looked like you stopped and then you.
No camera freezing. So I don't know. Maybe I'm in.
Okay, so Renee, a part of that conversation was it kind of like it's relatable to what you were saying about your father, Stanley. You were saying how you can go to him for anything, and you was always his favorite or whatever, and anything that
his favorite, I was one of the ones he just took with
she's
him.
trying to clean it up. What did she say, y'all? What did she say? I'll play it back. You want to play it back right now? I don't know how to play it back right now. But you did say that. We'll check it out in the next segment when it get
one of his favorites.
So anyway, she was saying that he pretty much was showing her he actually instilled a lot of stuff in her by expressing his love to her. That way, when a guy, and he prepared her for guys like some guys, them guys out there, not me. So he prepared her for those situations. And when Courtney was talking, he was pretty much saying he been with his wife for 16 years, and he do X, Y, and Z, and he continued to do it. Now, Renee, if you was in a relationship for 16 years, would you expect that guy to be who Courtney is, or would you expect that guy to be who Stanley was to you? That's a tough question, isn't it?
No, I understand where Courtney's coming from, and I truly do, but see, that's just something that they had established early on. Like he said, when she expected him to do this, he said, no, I don't, that's what your father do. He pretty much laid who he was in the beginning, and at that point she could have stayed or she could have left him alone. She chose to stay and be there and understand and get to know him. Mm-hmm. So not saying he's not a gentleman, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, he does it occasionally. I would say my kid's father was a gentleman towards me. He opened the door, sometimes he didn't. Like what's her, Lisa? Mm-hmm.
Lisa.
Lady, okay. Well, like she said, she will wait and let him do it. If he didn't, then she would get on ahead and do it herself. And that was kind of what I did as well. But majority of the time, he did hold the door for me. We going into a restaurant to eat, or we going into somewhere together, he did hold the door open for me. And there was some times where, I ain't gonna lie, everybody been cold or something, I didn't stand there and wait. I just opened the door because I don't like being cold. So.
What? Okay. He was moving too slow. Okay. Hey, Rayshawn, how you doing? Okay.
So, I kind of see what he's saying, and I'm sure there's been times where he did get that door open for her.
Shoot, Courtney will hold the door open for me. I don't know why.
But I wanted to ask you all a question
Okay.
about the men being gentlemen and holding the door. Do you think it's rude of a woman to not say thank you behind that, or just like automatically just think you supposed to do that? Because I always thank a man for doing that for me, because I'm very grateful for that, because they don't have to. And I've seen women just walk past the man, look at the man, walk past, and don't say nothing when he's holding the door open for them.
Well, from my standpoint, I'm gonna answer from both sides. I'm gonna answer from the guy that really don't do it or don't care to do it, and I'm gonna answer from a guy that respectfully would do it. So, if a woman don't say thank you, it's just like when your kids don't say thank you to you for whatever you get. You doing it because you expect them to say thank you. So I don't have a problem with a woman not saying thank you, because I feel like that's part of who we should be, or things that we're supposed to do. It's respect. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. But however, on the other side, I think appreciation, if you just show me that you appreciate me for doing that, that'll kind of bring us closer. Or, same way y'all want the spontaneous acts, we still want to be appreciated as a man. Am I right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Y'all got quiet. I ain't see.
And
Mr. Cotton, look, I was waiting on this. He done cut the light off, cut the flashlight off, and then when the question come to us, he going to black. No, but I mean, if you doing it for that, just for that reason, I wouldn't expect it. But I'm gonna let the other guys go, because we got 3 minutes in this segment.
Well, I'm gonna say just a little bit. My thing is this: if I get to the door first, then I'm opening the door. If she gets to the door first, then I expect her to open the door. Don't just wait on me to get there to open the door first. You was there first.
Hold up, Courtney. Hold up, Courtney. Hold up, Courtney. We got an expression. Hold up.
Yeah,
Mr. Cotton's out of the dark. He's coming up to the light. Okay. Go ahead, Courtney. There we go.
He gets to the door first. He opens the door, because the women forget that men are human as well. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? They want the same thing. Look, my wife spends all my money. She hasn't worked in 16 years. But if I go to the movie, I expect her or take me out to a restaurant with my own money. I don't care. But I need you to take me out as well as me taking you out, because guess what? It's a mutual relationship. It's not just, I do 100, you do 0. No, I don't fill my wife's tank up all the time. She's driving her car. She fills her tank up. If I get in her car and I see her car is on E, I'll fill her tank up. But guess what? You're gonna go all the way to Michigan, come back and leave your car on E and
wait for me to fill it up.
Wait for me to fill it up. No, that don't make. I told her God didn't make you an invalid, and you're not gonna be one. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go fill your own car up when you have to. You're gonna clean your own car out when you have to. Because if something happens to me, then guess what? You just forgot.
You're gonna have to do it anyway, right?
Anyway, you forgot how to do it.
You feel like you crippling her, huh?
Exactly. That's how
I'm not agreeing with him. I'm not agreeing.
That's how I feel.
I'm going to have to speak up on that. He's right. But my grandmother, she's talking today on that still. I hear it a lot. She repeats this, that when my grandfather passed away, she said she didn't know how to pump gas. She didn't know where to go pay her bills. My grandfather did all of that. And she just felt like an imbecile. Like she said, I couldn't do nothing. And she was a little angry because she said that he could have allowed her to do those things so she would know how to do them when he wasn't there for her. So she feels some type of way till this day about that. Because when the guy asked her, what kind of oil do you want in your car when she went to get the oil change, she looked at him like as if he was stupid and was like, I don't want cooking oil in there. Not knowing it's 5W30, you know what I'm saying? DW. She didn't know.
Hey, so. I don't want to mess the ending up, but we're gonna have to go into the third segment. So I'm gonna get right back with y'all. I'm gonna send y'all another link and we'll be right back. All right.
All right.
Sounds good.